At a company dinner, President Leo got drunk. In front of everyone, he looked at me in the corner and said, "Honey, come here, I want to kiss you." "Honey, why are you so far away from me?" "Honey, don't push me off the bed. Don't get too close to other men, or I'll get jealous." Leo, the bossy president in public, turned into a clingy lover in private. Should I pretend not to know him at this moment? Everyone's eyes turned to me. I pretended to be confused, pointing at myself and asking, did the president drink too much and see double? Suddenly, everyone seemed to understand. How could the president have a crush on you? His taste must be terrible. I was really scared just now. You're just an intern, how could you possibly be the president's wife? People started making assumptions. Feeling embarrassed, I cursed Leo in my heart countless times. I prayed he wouldn't cause any more scenes. Luckily, he was truly drunk. "Hey, Rachel, you're still single, right?" The topic shifted to me again. Since Leo and I agreed to pretend to be single, I could only nod. Lucy, a colleague who rarely spoke to me, suddenly remarked, "Wow, Rachel, your bag must have cost over 20 grand. Which rich family did you steal it from to experience life?" Her words were clearly malicious. I calmly replied, "It's fake. Don't make false assumptions. I've had this bag for almost half a year." She looked amused. "You said your parents were both dead, right?" It was frustrating how she used the fact that my parents were dead to needle me. I sighed and thought to myself that I had promised to keep a low profile. Leo had emphasized that this bag was cheap and durable, to make it more subtle. Was he trying to trick me? This bag was from an online giveaway. Is it really that expensive? I asked sincerely, but my friends told me it was a knockoff. Someone came to my defense, saying, "Enough, Lucy, mind your own business with her bag." The topic was dropped, and everyone went back to eating and drinking. I focused on eating quietly, avoiding further conversation to steer clear of more conflict. Then, they started gossiping about Leo. When did the president get a girlfriend? I heard he just became single. Did he call you honey because he's getting married? How can he still act clingy even though he's supposedly dating? He used to act cold and serious when women approached him. This change is so drastic. He's obviously a super clingy person. I know his girlfriend must be the White's heiress. I have proof. The conversation veered off, and without thinking, I blurted out, "Wait, who is the White's heiress?" My colleagues were surprised by my lack of knowledge about gossip. One of them explained, "Coco, don't you know? They're said to be business partners, and those who've met them say they make a perfect couple." I couldn't hold back my curiosity. "How do you know so much?" The talkative colleague replied proudly, "My sister works at White's Group, and since finding out Leo is my boss, she tells me everything I bet you didn't know. They've known each other since they were kids. They say Leo holds an important position with Coco's family. He's practically the intended son-in-law," he added mysteriously. It suddenly made sense that they had a childhood connection. When I returned home that evening, Leo was already asleep. I knelt down and asked him, "Leo, who is Coco?" He pulled me close. "Honey, I couldn't find you, I missed you." "Why were you ignoring me?" "Forget it, can't talk to a drunkard." But even when he was drunk, he was still all about sweet talk, whispering in my ear, "Honey, can I take care of you? Really take care of you well." And that night, we never left the bed. I cried and tried to reason with him about self-control. Ignoring me, he blabbered, "Fine, let's go buy a ring tomorrow." It had only been a month since I agreed to date Leo. He had no intentions of making our relationship public. Even though he promised that he would treat me well once it became public and give me a status, I was afraid of his clingy nature and his constant public displays of affection. I didn't want to be overwhelmed, so I firmly rejected him. The next morning, I was on the verge of losing my temper. But he looked satisfied and asked gently, "Honey, what's wrong? Are you upset?" I glared at him. "You've been sleeping in the guest room all week. Come back when you've figured out what's wrong." I didn't want him to come back at all. I just wanted to rest. I left for work earlier than him every day. Who would have the boss escort a new intern to the office building every day? I had refused his offer to drive me to work. When I arrived at the office, everyone's expressions were oddly curious, and the atmosphere was tense. Mary, who spoke up for me the night before, seemed puzzled. The company needs someone to go on a business trip, and everyone's avoiding it. Rachel, it's you, said the department head. Boss, I'm just an intern. Isn't it inappropriate for me to go? I hesitated. It was just a minor task, signing a contract, and everything had been planned out. But suddenly, everyone seemed to step back, looking reluctant to get involved. If you can't handle such a small task, don't expect to be hired full-time. The department manager seemed pleased, but the room fell silent. I don't know why our company likes to bully newcomers. Since you send interns, why not send me as well? It was originally a very serious matter. But when Leo showed up, everything changed. The room, which was just lively discussing, fell silent. And at that moment, my department head was busy apologizing to Leo and was willing to go by himself. Leo looked at me and said, "You're the new one, right?" I nodded meekly, "Yes, Mr. President." "So, this business trip will be handled by you." Everyone seemed relieved. Then he added, "Since I said so, I will also go on this trip. You want to see if the intern can accomplish things that even senior employees shouldn't be lazy about." He looked around. "The formal employees are having a department assessment today. The last one, please leave the company directly." With a serious tone, and then he left as solemnly as he arrived. The whole company was in a gloomy atmosphere. But as soon as work was over, he insisted on picking me up at a place 1 kilometer away from the company. As I got in the car, he was so thrilled and boasted to me, "Honey, we can go on a business trip together at the company's expense, and we can even travel. Isn't it great?" Leo had been pursuing me for 3 months. I agreed to this for a month because he was too busy. We had only gone on 1 trip together. When he said that, it finally dawned on me. I'm really going on a business trip. I don't want to mix work with leisure. I said, "You better not go. How can the CEO go on a business trip with a female intern? What if others misunderstand? Why not do both work and play? It won't affect anything. Besides, how can this be considered a misunderstanding? We are a real couple. Trust me, I have a way to keep everyone from misunderstanding." Wait, do you want to hear what you're saying? I mean, I have a way to keep everyone from misunderstanding. The company is calling the shots, so I can only go with him helplessly. Since it was my first business trip, I made sure to thoroughly understand and prepare for the entire project. The head of the accounting department especially told me, "Book your own plane ticket based on the standard for regular employees' business trips. Also, the company won't arrange a special car for pickup. Take a taxi by yourself, remember to keep your receipts and come to me for reimbursement later." I asked, "Is the CEO really going? What about the journey?" Seeing my worried look, she kindly reassured me, "Don't worry, the CEO will only meet with you when it's work time. He flies first class and will have a car coming to pick him up. If you happen to stay with him, just do more and talk less." And who hasn't been scolded before, right? Your comforting words don't make the intern any less worried, do they? And how can I feel at ease going out with him? On the day of travel, due to ticket restrictions, I did not book the same flight as Leo. I was happily preparing to leave. I wanted to enjoy the business trip process alone. "I'm going to the airport first, you can come later on your own." But he grabbed me, "Hold on, we should resolve the issue of you locking me out last night. Just because I have to catch a flight today, does that mean we can't stay in the same room?" His solution to the problem was simple, resolving it in bed. I was too weak to resist and begged repeatedly. "My flight will be missed because of you, you jerk." He paid no attention to my pleas and continued. Finally, he said, "Take that plane ticket for reimbursement. I bought you a ticket on the same flight as mine." And he gloated, "You said it can't be public, am I doing a good job this way?" His flight was 3 hours after mine. No wonder he was so audacious. He arranged for me to sit in the first-class cabin next to him, and we arrived in a coastal city. For me, it's like driving along the way and seeing the sea beside us, a truly unique experience. The driver took us directly to the door of a villa. Aren't we going to a hotel? I already assumed I would be staying with him. He looked at me and smiled. This villa is great, just steps away from the sea. We can have drinks and food by the sea at night. As he said, I estimated that the beach was only a 5-minute walk away. Did you book this huge villa? What do you mean book? Suddenly, Leo hugged my waist and said, honey, this is the vacation house I bought for you. Let's buy more houses wherever you want to travel in the future. This is what rich people do, so arrogant. I was speechless at his natural tone. Pulling me inside, he threw the documents I was holding on the sofa. Don't rush to tidy up, let's enjoy the night first. We'll discuss work tomorrow. He really took me to the seaside, and he ordered barbecue, beer, and crayfish according to my preferences. Feeling comfortable? He raised his beer to toast me. Honestly, being a little tipsy at that moment, with the sea breeze, the sound of the waves, and a bit of chill, was quite intoxicating. It was quite pleasant. I rarely get the chance to go out like this, so I cherished the moment. I never imagined Leo would be the one by my side. I always felt there was a big gap between us. What are you thinking? He handed me a skewer of lamb. Eat quickly. It's no good when cold. I took it and ate. I was thinking, during military training, everyone thought you and Carrie were a couple. How come you confessed to me? Well, I was truly surprised by his confession. He was stunned by my question and had to resort to accusing me directly. Do you have the nerve to say when I confessed to you back then, you treated me like a cheating scoundrel and scolded me for being reckless? Alright, this man has a strong ego, so I can only coax him at this moment. I put down what I was holding, then suddenly climbed on him, and pushed him down. I'm sorry, I'll apologize to you. And I kissed him. He responded very well to my initiative. He immediately blushed. Turns out, the clingy guy was also a shy guy. Within the moments of kissing, he managed to say, honey, be more assertive in the future. You look so beautiful when you are like this. However, the next day, we went to the cooperating company. I found out that the cheerful person on the other side was Carrie, the school belle. She walked up to Leo and said, long time no see, old classmate, finally got the chance to meet you. How about having a meal together to catch up? Then she looked at me and said, is this your assistant? You don't have to follow your boss tonight, I have an appointment with him. Leo's expression, I knew instantly that he wasn't happy. So I immediately said before he could speak, alright, Carrie, I'll take the CEO to the hotel and wait for you. Leo looked at me disapprovingly, but he knew I didn't want any trouble with revealing identities. I smiled at him, reassuringly saying, Mr. Leo, you forgot you have to meet a client right now. Sorry, Carrie. I'm helping him reduce their time together. Carrie probably didn't even remember who I was. In his eyes, like most of our classmates, he knew Leo never dated in college, but no one knew he had confessed to me. I just wanted to see what she was up to. She ignored me calling her Carrie and immediately turned her attention to Leo. Leo, I know you're mad at me, but using this method, how could you be willing to come see me? You're not in charge of this project this time. Please have your project lead come see me. I don't want to waste time. Leo's refusal was clear. Leo, we're old classmates. I know you work diligently, and I've done my homework before coming here. I won't be a hindrance. I just want to chat with you a bit. Why won't you give me this opportunity? I'm standing here, my toes are about to dig out a 3-bedroom apartment. So I looked around, hoping Carrie would just ignore me. But Leo's words made Carrie freeze directly. Sorry, I have a girlfriend now, so I won't be going tonight. Upon hearing this, Carrie laughed. Back in school, you used that excuse to dodge me. After all these years, you haven't changed a bit. Who told you I lied? Leo suddenly looked at me. Come on, assistant, tell Carrie over there if I have a girlfriend. Leo threw the question to me, and I could only tell Carrie the truth. Carrie, Leo does have a girlfriend. It's not possible. Carrie blurted out, Auntie never said that. Are you still in touch with my mom? Leo sneered, well, Guess how long it's been since I last contacted her? The conversation ended on an unpleasant note. But dinner that evening proceeded as planned. Carrie changed things up this time, inviting the entire project team to dinner together. No matter how unhappy Leo was, it wouldn't affect work. This time, Carrie behaved very appropriately. Throughout the whole process, if you didn't know about her previous move, you'd think she and Leo were meeting for the first time. Suddenly someone asked, "I heard that Carrie and Leo studied in the same university. Did you meet back then?" Leo politely replied, "Yes, we did." Carrie was quite popular in college. In fact, Carrie was the campus belle, and Leo was the campus heartthrob. Both were quite well known. They were considered a perfect match in everyone's eyes. Everyone had been waiting for their official announcement, but after 4 years of anticipation, they graduated without it. Let's work well together, cheers. Although Leo had a lot of social events, he had never built up his tolerance for alcohol, and after a while, he started feeling a bit out of it. I was quite nervous, as he liked to tease me when he got drunk. I quickly stood up to shield him. "I'll drink this. He has a weak stomach, drinking more might cause him stomach pains." But Carrie on the other side was displeased. "What, Leo is sending his assistant to handle this? Isn't that a bit disrespectful?" Leo suddenly stopped me. "Rachel, sit down, I'll handle this myself." After he drank a bit more, he said he needed to go to the bathroom. When he came out of the bathroom, Carrie was waiting for me at the door. "Carrie, do you have something to say? Did you think I don't recognize you? We were in the same major, right? I remember you, didn't expect you to be Leo's assistant." Now seeing I didn't reply, she continued, not so kindly, "I don't know by what means you became an assistant, but I hope you can recognize your place." She leaned in, speaking quietly. "Do you know how I remember you? Because you had scholarships every year. Don't think I can't see the way you look at people. With your conditions, you still dare to have thoughts you shouldn't?" "Carrie, let me make something clear." I remained calm. "It's true I had scholarships every year, but didn't I also receive awards every year? Did you just conveniently ignore that?" I continued to look at her smug expression and said, "Why am I not good enough? I stand by Leo based on my own abilities. If you want to pursue Leo, go ahead, you don't need to drop hints to me, it's futile. You're from a wealthy family, not too malicious looking." After I retorted, she couldn't come up with a response for a while. "Sorry, I've been away for too long, Leo will be mad." I excused myself and tried to leave, but she grabbed my arm. "Can you tell me who his girlfriend is? That's a private matter, I think you should ask Leo himself." Before I could react, she comforted herself, releasing my arm. Leo wouldn't have such bad taste. By the time I got back, Leo was drunk. He directly said to me, "It's over, take me back to the hotel." Okay. The driver had been waiting outside. But once we got in the car, he hugged my head and kissed me, completely ignoring the driver in front. "What's gotten into you from the alcohol?" I pushed him away, feeling embarrassed. He pretended to be angry. "Why don't you make us public? Do you find me embarrassing?" I couldn't appease him this time. Each time someone asked if I was single, I had to say yes, which always hurt him. He would mutter, "What if someone kidnaps you?" But besides him, everyone around him probably thought I wasn't good enough for him. I patiently reassured him for a long time before he finally fell asleep heavily. In a half-asleep state, he kissed my forehead. "Get some more sleep, I'll handle things over at the project." With the CEO covering for him, I naturally tightened the blanket and went back to sleep. But when I woke up naturally, everything had changed. The news was all over the media. Leo and Carrie to wed. Leo's fiancée was a former classmate, rekindling their college romance. What's more, it directly predicts, will the business century wedding be held this year? I haven't called Leo to ask yet. But I received a call from him. "Honey, don't believe everything the news says, I'll clarify it." He said this while I was busy looking at the news picture. In the photo, the two of them took a picture together, and Carrie was gazing affectionately at Leo. Just looking at the photo, it's quite pleasing to the eye. "I don't believe it, you can relax." Even though I promised, he still wasn't at ease, speaking without confidence. the photo was taken as part of a contract, she said, just one picture. I didn't think much about it. I really trust you. Now he's the one who doesn't believe, really? Really, after all, you were hugging me and crying last night, accusing me of not making you public. He was stunned when I said that. Wait, I definitely didn't cry, you can't trick me. He teased me and made me laugh. I recorded a video, so when you get back you can see for yourself. Although I didn't actually cry, that sobbing look was pretty convincing. Okay, I really trust you. You better go handle this now. I know rich people always have a department to deal with these things. After you handle it, I'll take you out for seafood. I didn't even think about it and just agreed. I really trust him on this matter. It's just one photo, and from what I know about him, there's enough social distance in his photos, so I simply turned on the projector, deciding to watch a movie in peace. Honestly, I've seen the movie before, but now I can't even focus on what it's about. Saying not to worry would be a lie, but if there's no trust in the relationship, it's better not to have it. Not making him public was just a way to give myself an escape route in this vastly disparate relationship. But when I reached the end of the movie, things changed. He had rushed back and brought me a bunch of food. It looked more like he was trying to butter me up. Aren't you angry? He asked cautiously. Not at all. I took the food and felt hungry, not catching on to what he meant. What should I be angry about? Did you hide something from me? He looked a bit sheepish. Didn't you see the news? I quickly took out my phone, but it was already out of battery. Wow, this wasn't clarifying anything. He had made a serious official announcement. He went all out, putting up even my photos online. Turns out it wasn't because my phone was out of battery, but because it had been blowing up with notifications while I was watching the movie on silent. Don't be angry, I spent an hour picking out those photos. They look good, right? I'm telling you, photos can't be taken lightly. Wow, after all that busy work, was he auditioning photos for me? What followed were inquiries from everyone, including my friends. But mostly, the company's group chat was exploding. People outside may not know me, but everyone in the company does. As a colleague put it, when couples are separated, it's no big deal, but when the CEO and a colleague officially announce it, the whole world feels different. Mary immediately asked me for details when she arrived, and at that point, hiding it would feel awkward, so I just confessed. Mary laughed heartily, busy reporting to me about the state of the company via text. Rachel, guess what Lucy is up to? Ever since she saw the official announcement news, she's been crying secretly. Her eyes are all swollen now. I asked her what's wrong, and she said she just ate really spicy noodles. You know, she watches those CEO dramas all the time, and she thinks she can attract a Leo successfully. I was actually afraid of dealing with these kinds of situations, and could only reply, I didn't really want to keep it from you guys, it's just that Leo and I just got together, and I was afraid making it public would cause him trouble. Mary was all caught up in the excitement and could only text me, no one's working in the office right now, it's a party. Except Lucy, all the women at the company see you as a role model. They're all asking where they can bow down to get a boyfriend like yours. These were the voices I could anticipate. The only thing I couldn't predict was that my relatives from my hometown would come knocking on my door. I was still out of town, but I received messages of sympathy from them. Honestly, Leo's company is very well known, and anyone with a bit of business sense in China knows Leo's reputation. Rachel, Auntie hasn't been in touch for a long time. How have you been recently? As soon as I turned on my phone, all kinds of messages poured in. Aside from ads, the vast majority were along the same lines. But back then, both my parents had passed away. And no one was willing to help me. I begged for money for my parents' funeral, but no one was willing to lend me any. In the end, the village head couldn't stand it and lent me the money, allowing me to continue my studies. The fact that I can have a healthy upbringing until today is related to many people, but strangely, not so much to my so-called relatives. As for the aunt I mentioned before, she's just someone I made up on the spot. But they specialize in moral blackmail. Someone directly asked me, Rachel, now that you have money, are you ignoring all family ties? I didn't expect this official announcement to cause such a stir. I handed the phone to Leo helplessly. the reason I didn't want you to go public also includes this. Money? He scoffed. If he's got guts, let him come talk to me. This is also one of the reasons I like Leo. He never cares about my family background, and even in a situation like this, he only cares about my safety and well-being. It's okay, I haven't had any contact with them in years, I won't bother with them now. I'm really in a good state of mind, you can relax. I thought I could just ignore it, but this matter has brought new conflicts due to my change in identity. Just back from a business trip, there was all kinds of information about my family situation on the internet. Rachel, I heard your mother was abducted, is that true? Originally, because of Leo's announcement, no one dared to accuse me publicly like this, but now, everyone thinks I'm going to be abandoned by Leo, so they've become bolder. My mother just has intellectual issues, she was not abducted. Who would believe it? Which guy would want to marry a honey with intellectual issues? Lucy pointed at me, saying it was weird when you were officially announced. How did you deceive the CEO with your conditions? Or are you particularly good in certain aspects? I responded coldly, so, all of you think I deceived Leo by pretending. Why is he so clueless, without any ability to discern right from wrong? Who knows, rich people haven't had much experience with sly people, and they happen to be fooled by you. She now looked like she had washed away her past shame, very excited. If you ask me, Leo might as well choose that Carrie, I feel they match quite well. I questioned, shouldn't he choose you? Are you so generous to give him up like that? After I exposed her, she was speechless. What are you saying? I'm not like you, how could I? After saying that, she didn't even have the courage to continue arguing with me, she just ran away. I watched as the crowd shifted from staring at me and fighting, to whispering to each other, so I just spoke up loudly, hey everyone, excuse me for a moment. Since everyone cares so much about my situation, let me clarify first and satisfy your curiosity. I don't know where this information online came from either. But I can't deny that my mother indeed has an intellectual disability, but she was not abducted, and my father treats her very well. Apart from this, I do not want to hear any more slander about my family from anyone. Lucy interrupted, who knows? Free speech. I sneered, free speech has to be legal. So I directly called the police. Lucy was severely reprimanded by the police and was required to publicly apologize to me and compensate for the damages. I only gave a brief response to the online incident. By my side, I always keep things that my parents were able to keep. In my father's possessions, the most things are not about me, but about my mother. He has known my mother for a long time, they were childhood sweethearts. The long-standing friendship had led them to be together. They got married. But before my father could make enough money to give my mother a good life, she experienced a serious car accident that hit her head. Although it did not endanger her life, nor were there serious injuries. It's just that since that day, my mother turned into a 10-year-old mentally. The doctors found out that on that same day, my mother happened to be pregnant with me, who was also doing well. Later, my father told me that I must have protected my mother in her belly, at least ensuring her survival through the horrific car accident. A 10-year-old mother is like having a child, it brings a lot of trouble, but she still tries her best to be good to me, even if her idea of being good is handing me a candy. My father takes care of my mother and me, like taking care of two children. The only things I have put online are a few letters. Some were sent out and stamped. Some were sent after marriage. In my impression, my father has always been silent, but in his letters, he was always warm and enthusiastic. Perhaps because my father's letters were too sincere, I also inherited some writing talent, and I wrote out the story in a simple way. I saw many people cry. In the conclusion of my statement, I wrote, after my parents passed away, I learned from them and climbed onto the roof with a ladder. I imitated them watching the sunrise, watching the sunset, watching the smoke rise, and watching the tides ebb and flow on the roof. Later, I dared not step into that old house again. So, when can being sick be used to insult others? Leo didn't expect that before he had to intervene, this rumor would be resolved. Then it was Leo's mother who wanted to meet me. He comforted me all the way. My mother is indeed not easy to get along with, she married my father as part of a family arrangement. But they never had any feelings for each other. She followed the rules all her life. But even so, she hopes Leo can continue to follow the rules. Just because it's a prestigious family. I sat across from Leo's mother. Hello, Auntie. Auntie couldn't force a smile at me, but I was in a good mood because she didn't even smile at her own son. What don't you like about that Coco? Once again, I heard this name and couldn't help but be curious. Before I laid eyes on Leo, he said, she's ugly. Auntie questioned, Coco has been in magazines, where's the ugliness? I didn't like her, I just find her ugly. Leo sat next to me, holding my hand with one hand all the time. I was worried it wouldn't look good to pull my hand out, so he directly held onto my thigh. I obediently placed my hand back. What about Carrie? Auntie continued to be persistent. I've met this girl before, her family and herself are very good, and she has been faithful to you. I heard she's liked you since college. You can't say you find her ugly too. Their family has bad taste. Leo remained calm, saying their shopping center will go downhill in 3 years. I don't want to spend my money on trying to fix their problems. You. Auntie was furious. I see that they have chosen you, their taste is not that bad. Leo nodded. What you said is also right, let's not make things difficult for them. But, I thank Rachel because her taste isn't that great either. This guy probably knows how to tease people. The dinner had to continue. Leo kept praising me, almost saying I was heaven sent. I heard you and Leo are serious. I looked at Leo's mother for a moment and said, to be honest, I also had doubts about this issue before, but now I can say for sure that I am serious. For some reason, Leo's mother never bothered me again. In her words, I can't support you, so I choose to turn a blind eye. Honestly, your life is yours, including your marriage. As long as you don't regret it, or if you do, don't complain to me. This was also a chance for Leo to choose. So, I took the opportunity to ask him, why do you like me so much? His answer surprised me. I always thought I would follow the path my mother had set for me. Whether I did well in exams or not, I needed to go home to inherit the family business. For me, everything in life was planned out. But when I first saw you, I felt a connection. Love at first sight? That sounds too cliché, right? But he looked sincere. Believe it or not, in my eyes, you are more attractive than anyone else. So, I always found it strange when people would say Rachel is pretty, even though you are much prettier than her. When I saw you for the first time, I even felt nervous. Many people have told me I'm good looking, but because of my family background, my looks have been downplayed in everyone's eyes. And if you think I have no ulterior motive for being with you, that's not true either. You might not believe it, but every time I'm near you, I feel calm, and things just go smoothly for me. I felt like he might really be sincere. He even said things like you're my lucky star. But whenever I pressed him with more questions, he would deflect by saying, but you rejected me, and it hit me hard for a while. I had my own tricks, so I kicked him out of the room. He complained for 2 days and finally confessed to me a question that had been bothering me the most. If you rejected me, why did I come back to pursue you? He mysteriously admitted, do you remember, after you agreed to be with me, we went on a trip and visited a temple? I did remember, mostly because he was so interested in that temple, telling me it was very effective and urging me to pray there. What did you pray for? I went with the flow and naturally said, wealth. I didn't pray for anything. I went there to give thanks. Leo said seriously, that temple is known for fulfilling relationships. So, I went to give thanks. Remember the love tree over there? I tied a red ribbon for both of us. Wow, he even dragged me into giving thanks. Did you take me to check if the ribbon was still there? I was curious about what he wrote on the ribbon. No need to check, it must still be there. Leo was proud because he had tied 100 ribbons. I couldn't help but admire his move. When I took you to give thanks, I also prayed for our long-lasting relationship. I am willing to offer incense for it. He said to my surprise, you can't leave me, you are like a gift sent to me by the heavens. Since discovering that Leo is a top-tier romantic paired with clingy qualities, he has become even more attached. After going public, Leo was completely glued to me. He wanted to be with me 24/7. Even at work, he found every opportunity to stay by my side. But he also gave me plenty of space. If I wanted to go out and meet friends, he never questioned it, trusting me completely. But he cared about my safety, always asking to pick me up when I returned. Honestly, dealing with this kind of man only requires treating him well as you wish. So, when he leaned in, I willingly asked for a hug, even directly jumping into his arms. He was delighted. Delighted to the point where he wanted to take me to all kinds of occasions. Even if these occasions were completely unfamiliar to me. He never had an air of superiority around me, and even the high-level vocabulary he used when talking to others was far from what he used with Mehe. Was confident, and it made me feel at ease. In his eyes, he was just helping me blend into his life. But to me, I just wanted to be one step closer to him. One of the biggest obstacles Leo and I faced before getting married was when we went to play golf. Don't underestimate this small ball, it's challenging to conquer. I swung wildly at the practice range, even hitting a few balls way off target, some even going up to the top. With a bang, I heard whispers around me, "Isn't that Leo's girlfriend? What is she even hitting? How embarrassing." It was almost as if everyone could hear their whispers. I played on, as if I hadn't heard a thing. Not long after, Leo, done discussing business at the restaurant, came to the practice range. At that moment, a crowd had gathered around me. My coach said on the side, "Don't say that I taught you if you mess up." I laughed and said, "Can't do that, everyone around is teasing you. I used to hit the roof with my swing, now I'm hitting behind. At this rate, you might have to refund my coaching fees." Watching Leo and the others play so smoothly made me eager to try. Turns out, I have zero talent for golf. Just as I was teasing my girlfriend, she continued, "You're embarrassing yourself. You finished a whole basket of balls. If anyone sees you, you'll embarrass Leo. The future madam of the house is truly a sight to see, not worth the hype." Leo's voice came from afar, "Why would my honey embarrass me?" He confidently came over, held my hand, and asked, after hitting so many balls, "Is your hand hurting?" I didn't swing right, my hand did hurt, so I just nodded. He then said, "Let me take you out for some good food. The beef noodles at this golf course are famous." Then he turned to the girl who had just joined in, "Ma'am, I'll pay for you to hit 10 baskets. Let's see how good you really are." The girl was clearly frightened. "Leo, I was just kidding." But Leo wasn't having it. "It's your lucky day that my wife has a good temper and won't scold you. But I like to throw my weight around. Didn't your father just leave the restaurant?" Leo is not one to mess with, and I rarely see him act this way. He was wrong, the one really throwing his weight around was me. I didn't plan to let the girl off easily, but Leo intervened before I could complain. "I'm not that merciful. If you say or do something wrong, you have to face the consequences." So, I wasn't going to help her. I thought that was the end of it. Turns out, Leo is a hopeless romantic. He got mad and started praising me, saying all kinds of nice things in front of everyone. I just couldn't stop him. In the end, I had no choice but to kiss him right there. I had to shut him up somehow. Marrying Leo felt like the right thing to do. He has been consistent in his love for me. I don't regret it. But slowly I realized that his words, "I feel like you are my lucky charm," had come true since we've been together. The family business has been thriving, even securing tough projects. Leo is always by my side, and one day, he proposed to me. "I can't stand having you out there like this, I'm too worried. Will you marry me?" I had never seen a proposal like that. His nervous look was genuine. I asked, "Who's the one not trusting whom? Look at how many women are after you." He replied, "That's where you're wrong. Every day you don't marry me, you give them hope. If you marry me, they'll give up." I knew he was just teasing, but it was time to marry him. I leaned in and whispered to him, "Your birthday is coming up, want a gift?" His face lit up, "You agreed?" I smiled and pointed at my belly. He caught on quickly. His excitement dimmed a bit, and a hint of disappointment showed, I thought we could have our honeymoon in peace. Then, fearing my anger, he explained, of course, I love our child. But it seems we might have to reconsider our honeymoon destination. Marrying a man like him, what more could I ask for? I didn't tell him, but later on, I went to that temple alone. I prayed for a long, peaceful life for us.